The cold open of the first episode of Netflix's Marvel's Daredevil is quite possibly one of the greatest openings ever written for television. It's the origin story summed up in 8 minutes. What happened to him, who he is now, and then a possible premonition of who he will become. It wastes no time and gets right into the story of Matt Murdock. We open with the origin of his powers. By the time we, the audience, are here, the accident has already happened. There's nothing we can do to stop it, to prevent it. Matthew Murdock, currently a child, is on the ground, with chemicals in his eyes. We learn in real time alongside his father what happened. He saved an old man's life. He pushed him out of the way of the vehicle, landing himself in a puddle of chemicals. We watch as Matthew loses his vision in real time, and an amazing performance by Skylar Gartner has him screaming to the sky about how he can't see while he is held by his father. And then we're in the confession booth. Years have passed. Murdock is an adult now, and will soon learn that his dad has died. We don't learn this obviously. He never comes out and says it, but the use of past tense in the script's language is unknowingly revealing things about this world and about Matt, as is everything he says in this masterclass of acting and writing. Each line in this monologue serves a purpose, setting something up that will be paid off. The entire monologue is set up for the arc Murdock will eventually take in season 3. But for now, we just set up why Matt is the way he is. He talks about his father taking hits, telling us he saw the fight, saw how he took a punch, but worse, he saw what happened when his father would let the devil out. Describing in vivid detail how his father and his opponent would act, his father chasing down a man trying to get away, and how his father wouldn't let up, his anger and rage taking over. He confesses to the priest that he didn't used to understand this anger, the devil inside his father. Now he does. Then he reveals why he is really here, why he has returned after all of these years. Not for penance for what he has done, but forgiveness for what he's about to do. And when the priest asks what he's about to do, the audience sees the answer. He's going to become Daredevil. He's going to let the devil out. By the time we see Murdock as an adult, Daredevil is barely established as a vigilante. In fact, he doesn't even go by the name Daredevil until the end of season 1. But in this first scene, you can immediately tell that his mind is made up about what he's doing. This is even more obvious when it comes to the conversation he has with Foggy later in the season about why he does it. He's taking justice into his own hands, believing that he is justified in his actions because no one else is acting. During that conversation, in a scene I cannot show on YouTube, we first see Matt let the devil out. We see where Matt Murdock ends and Daredevil begins. And we see that maybe the Murdock boys and the devil inside are more one and the same than they like to pretend. All set up in this one monologue. This monologue, this one-sided conversation with the priest, it isn't just Matt saying what he's going to do. It's him deciding in real time what he's going to do. And he isn't quite sure until the glasses go on and the decision is made. The mask, covering his eyes, closing himself off from the outside world, his mind made up, his actions decided. By the time the priest asks what he's going to do, Matt already knows the answer, and so we see it. The fight scene is impeccable. We are taught about how Daredevil fights through this scene, hearing the gun, not afraid of getting hit. It's a grungy, messy fight, where Matt takes his fair share of hits and deals out plenty of his own. But he's content to leave them on the ground. Hurt, sure, but nothing too serious. Maybe a broken bone here or there. Not like he did to that girl's father. Until the man tries to get back up, to hurt either him or the girls after he was already beaten. And then, the devil comes out. The fastest gun to ever go off in the history of Chekhov's discount shooting range and open bar. The devil comes out and the man is beaten, again and again and again, until the titles play and tell us who this show is about. Daredevil. The beast that Matt Murdock must keep at bay. The conflict of the entire show. Matt controlling himself and overcoming his devil and his demons in order to not lose himself in his sense of guilt and justice. Going back to the monologue, it's worth noting the first half of the bar that he drops. He isn't seeking penance. By this point, the story he tells Foggy has already happened. He has already landed a man in the hospital, and in his own words, never slept better. Up to this point, his actions as Daredevil, as a vigilante, have been completely justified in his mind. But he senses he's losing himself, and he's worried that he might go too far. He doesn't know what he himself will do as Daredevil. He hasn't been pushed to the edge yet. The show is a test for him to see how close he can get to the edge, and if he will go over. He isn't seeking penance, he's seeking forgiveness. Penance has two different definitions that go hand in hand with another and with forgiveness. One is voluntary self-punishment inflicted as an outward expression of repentance for having done wrong. And the other is a Christian sacrament in which a member of the church confesses sins to a priest and is given absolution, a word that here means formal release from guilt, obligation, or punishment. This word choice isn't an accident. The first definition is notably not what he's doing as Daredevil. He is not punishing himself, he's punishing others. He views himself as justified in his actions, not needing punishment. The second definition is what he's specifically not here for. To be told that it's okay, that what he has done was the right thing, that it was morally correct to take his anger out, to want to do this. He's already resigned himself to feeling this way about his past actions, but now he seeks forgiveness for what he wants to do next, for wanting to take it further, for wanting to let the devil out. Matt Murdock's Catholicism is as important to him as a character as great power and great responsibility are to Spider-Man. They go hand in hand, and they cannot exist without it. These three scenes set up the three sides of Matt Murdock: the selflessness of throwing himself in front of a vehicle to save a man he does not know's life, the Catholicism that is deeply rooted in him from his grandmother and the guilt that comes with that, and the devil, the part of him that he feeds into, but the part of him that he grows to fear, but will eventually have to accept. As much as Season 1 of Daredevil acts as an origin story for the character of Daredevil, this cold open acts as an origin story for Matt. It shows us exactly where he's going to go and exactly why he's going to go there. It's the origin to the origin, set up in a mere 8 minutes total, giving us an introduction to Matt Murdock, Daredevil, and the nebulous space between the two that slowly blurs together until they become one. Thanks for watching.